We are in the middle of winter, and yet nature is already reminding us that life is still there. Our rose bushes are already starting to bud, even though the rainy weather of the past few weeks has made way for cold, frosty mornings. There is much more to nature at this time of year than it seems. As I am sitting on this trunk, I am reminded once again of the everlasting presence of the past, of the hold it has on us, despite time and change. I am taken back to my childhood and teenage years a lot these days. A time of my life that was not the easiest for me. A time when standing up for myself against judgment and loneliness was the hardest thing to do. Despite a quite happy childhood, my personality was just too different to be fully accepted by everyone. I see it as a strength now, and I know how lucky I am to have what I have now. But the heart of winter also reminds me that sometimes you have to keep fighting. Putting flowers in the house in January has been a tradition for us for the past few years. The reset after Christmas can be a little bit hard sometimes, and flowers have such a magical way of adding light and hope and joy to the everyday. And I don't mind turning our house into a greenhouse for an afternoon gardening indoors. I recently had to stand up for myself again several times. It can still be challenging for me, but it's nothing compared to what it looked like when I was a teenager, trying to fit in and be like everybody else. But I am not like everybody else, and I quickly learned that it was impossible and pointless for me to try. The rejection took the form of loneliness, mockery, and indifference. And when you are trying to become a person, it leaves scars. I was judged for being unsociable, but I was just shy. I still very much am, but judgment doesn't hurt as much now. I'm gonna tell you a little story. When I was 15, I was lucky enough to enter a class to learn cinema and movie making skills. It was a module or a subject, if you will, and I was so excited. It turns out those were the worst 3 years of my life. I just wasn't in the right place. I didn't like what I was being taught, and I was judged and mocked by my classmates and my teachers. Ironically enough, almost 20 years later now, I can say I am one of the only ones from that class still applying those movie-making skills on a regular basis here on this channel. In a small but meaningful way, I took a little revenge on that part of my life. Will my teachers know? Probably not, and I have to accept it, but the satisfaction is here to stay. I recently came up with a new heartwarming tea that I would like to share with you today. It is a delicious little treat to give meaning to self-care, one that I can't get enough of. A couple of star anise pods, a few sprigs of thyme and rosemary, and some cocoa powder. And you've got a recipe for a calm and sweet moment. have kept working on this series of moon drawings and paintings. The moon is a fascinating art theme, mesmerizing and bewitching. I find it to be the perfect companion for an escape from overwhelming thoughts. Each phase of the moon influences us in different ways. Just like the tides and seas are affected by it, so are our bodies and minds. The moon can be a friend to help us experience life a little bit more easily if we know how to use its energies and guidance. The full moon's energy makes it the perfect time for positivity and creative visualization. It also helps clear the mind and start anew. Tonight, I want to share with you a simple ritual that I practice when I need a bit of help visualizing positive changes in my life. Being a believer in the power of the mind to create the life I want, I like to ask the moon a little bit of help to strengthen my motivation. Adding a bit of magic to the everyday never hurts, and at the very least it will help you feel so much more connected to your inner needs and well-being. I do it at night, but it can be done at any time of day or night. I start by lighting a candle. Then I add a few drops of clary sage. Sage being known for its cleansing properties, both for the body and the home. Something to remind me of the moon, in this case a moonstone crystal. I always have a little bit of dried common sage from our garden. I choose a relaxing piece of ambient music to help put me in the right mood. I try to only use things that mean something to me. And it really is what makes rituals powerful, when you personalize them to make them yours. When everything is ready, I take my sage and burn it in a bowl. This is when I try to visualize what I want. With this simple self-care ritual, I am asking for the strength to keep standing up for myself, and for an abundance of tolerance and respect, something that should be given to all of us naturally and freely. I wish you all a peaceful day or night, and I will see you soon.